right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Gonna give it just a couple of seconds so we can see who all is on. Give people some time to join. If you're here, make sure that you comment below, shout out, say hello, be kind. You can speak, or go ahead and shout out below for me so I know that you're here. All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Gonna give it just a couple of seconds. Why? Okay. All right. So my computer playing games with me. All right. So welcome back, everyone. It is your girl, Nikia P. Evans. And as you know, we have started this series called Wake Her Up. So if you were here yesterday, you were able to hear a little bit of my story and, just for me to share with you where the series came from and how this whole thing came to be. If you were here, I told you that, God has spoke to me about waking her up, and that I was completely dumbfounded for a second of who exactly he was talking about. But what he was referring to was the woman that he had created us to be. And that sometimes we are sleeping on that person. We're sleeping on that person. We're sleeping on that passion, that purpose, everything that he has put in us to do, we're sleeping on it, right? So, I am just a tad bit late tonight. We were supposed to start directly at 9, but two amazing things were happening. First of all, my big sister, my friend Irena Tenen has her book release today. It started at 8 o'clock. I'm super excited. The book is called You Are a Gift, and you can scroll down my profile and you can actually see me sharing it. And this book is for youth girls, teen girls. And it's called You Are a Gift. And right now it's on Kindle for about 99¢, okay? Or you can actually just order the paperback copy of the book as well on Amazon. But I'm telling you that if you have a youth girl, teen girl, then you need this. I have a daughter, she's 13, and we're getting this book, okay? Because I truly believe in the passion and the purpose of Irena and everything that she does. So listen, I'm telling you, you want to get that. Secondly, my radio station, Ruach Life Radio, just launched a new radio show called Face and Purpose with Lakia Barnett, and it was completely amazing. She did awesome. And so I had all these, kind of going back between these events, and so that's why I'm a tad bit late. So please forgive me. Now, so basically, like I was saying, this whole series is called Wake Her Up. And the purpose of this is to wake up that person that you're sleeping on. Wake up that person that, you're not really understanding, or maybe somebody that you don't know. Everything that God has given me to do as far as my ministry, the woman behind the mask and No Longer Hidden, is about discovering who you truly are. And sometimes when you don't know who you truly are, then that means you're kind of sleeping on that person, because here you're out, you're pretending to be this fake person. You're pretending to be, this other whatever. You have this different personality type thing going, and you have no idea of who you truly are. Now, if you know me and if you follow me, I share majority of my business. And I do that because I want you to understand that the things that I talk about and the things that God has given me to talk about, this is not something that I'm reading off of books. This is not something that, I'm just picking from the internet. These are things that's really literally happening to me that God is taking me through. So, we talked about how, God had told me, he was like, wake her up. You've been sleeping on this person. You're not fulfilling everything that I have given you to do. And so I was like, okay, all right. So how do we do this? We talked about putting out breadcrumbs and how we want God to give us, step by step, cross every T and dot every I and things like that. But sometimes, we talk about trusting him. We talk about the faith. We talk about all these things. And then when situations happen, that trust is gone, it's gone. And so I will share with you what happened to me today. And see, and I want you to understand that, when you're talking about unmasking, when you're talking about waking this woman up, so many times because we've slept on this person or because we've been masked for so long, it's so easy to revert back to that. We talked about that last week when we were doing the No Longer Hidden Summit. It's easy to revert back to that person. It's easy to revert back to that mask. It's easy to revert back to that comfort zone or, all of that. So today, I get off work this morning, I take a nap, and I get up and I'm feeling depressed. And so I'm emotional, I'm just crying, and I'm like, oh, what the heck is going on here? And it felt like the walls were just crushing on me. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was happening. It seems like everything was happening all at once. It wasn't just one situation, but it was like every single situation was coming, and it felt like the walls was just crushing me. And so it was almost like I was depressed this morning. Like I was just, laying around. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get up. I was at a point where I was just very emotional, just like crying for no reason. And I reached out to my mom. And I love my mom. If anybody knows me, I'm a PK. So my mom's a pastor. And I reached out to my mom and I was like, Mom, like, my job is driving me crazy. This is driving me crazy. Like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, Kia, put on your big girl panties and do what you need to do. She was like, you have to trust God. She was like, it's not just something that you say, but you have to trust him. If you're going to verbally say it, then be able to really do this thing. Be ready to really, step out here completely and fully. And so, I took my daughter out, we went out to eat, and, I was sitting in the car and I'm like boo-hooing so hard because I was like, nobody is not understanding what I'm talking about here. Like, I feel like everything is just crushing me all at once. And she was like, this is what you need to do. And I can share that with you. And I'm not ashamed to share that with you because, this is a learning process as we go along. And I tell you all the time, I will never, ever say that I've made it, that I've, that I'm there, like I'm like the bombdiggity.com. I mean, I am, but I'm not, I am not completely there. And I only said that I'm like the bomb.diggity.com because my daughter looked at me. So I had to, validate myself for a second. Okay. So anyways, it's about understanding that and being able to say, you know what? Yes, I sing the songs. Yes, I quote the scriptures. And now that I'm presented with this situation, I have these songs that I can sing. I have these scriptures that I can quote, but listen here, guys, something got to give. Like, okay, is it just because I quote the scripture, am I able to really step out, even though I don't see what I'm stepping out to, or I don't know what I'm stepping on? I have no idea because I can't see. And we want to be able to control that. We want to control where we're going, where we put our feet. And sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes it's not like that. And so because I am presented in a situation where I don't necessarily know how this is going to play out, my whole thing, it's like I get emotional and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't. And, I felt like a little girl and I needed my mommy. And yes, I'm 33 and I still say mommy. I don't say ma, I say mommy. I still needed my mommy to comfort me in a sense or give me what I needed because I felt like every single thing was just like, boom, not just they weren't taking turns. I promise you, everything was coming together all at once. And so I get off of work this morning and, I do what I need to do. I lay down to take a nap. I wake up like 2 hours later, no type of sleep, and I'm just, I feel like I can't move. I feel like I'm just depressed all of a sudden because my mind is going and I'm thinking about all these things. I'm thinking about, this situation and why all these things have to happen at the same time. Like, God, are you like, why? Like, is there an issue? Are you tripping? like, what exactly is going on here? And when I wanted to just cry out to my mom and be like, mommy, she comforts, that's the mom. But then she was like, Kia, get it together. Like technically, listen, you say that you trust him. You say that that God is everything. You say that you're a daddy's girl. You say that you are his girl, that you are his. Like, these are the hashtags that I'm putting. So why not trust him? And sometimes that is so fearful, because it's good to talk about it. It's good to quote about it. But then when you're in that situation and you can't see where you got to go, and you're like, oh my gosh, left, right, front, back, what am I doing? You get scared. You get scared. And so, I'm learning more of not only just talking the scriptures, not only singing the songs, not only getting on Facebook Live and running my mouth, but actually living this thing out. When God says, do you really trust me? That's something that you got to really think about. Like, do you really, really, truly trust him? If everything was taken away, can you trust him? If you can't see where you're going, can you trust him? And so the question today is, who is that girl? So we talked about sleeping on this person. We talked about unmasking this person. We talked about, trying to figure out who this woman is that we're sleeping on, that we're not living truly and fully in. We're not truly becoming this woman. So the question is, who's that girl? Y'all remember that song back in the day? Who's that girl? Na, na, na. Like, that song popped up in my head. Like, that song popped up in my head when God was giving me these things and I'm writing it down. I was like, yeah, like, who is this girl? Who's that girl? And I want to tell you that she is everything that God says that you are. And even though you may not see it, the thing about it is God sees the final result. Sometimes we can't see the final result because we're kind of living this thing out day by day. And sometimes it may be an up day. Sometimes it may be a down day. Sometimes it may be in between. And sometimes it may be a point where it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm her today. Maybe I'm not her today. I don't know. Halfway, maybe there, 3/4 of a quarter, like whatever. But God sees the final product. He knows exactly who you are. The thing about it is, we need to be able to see ourselves the way that God sees us. And the only way that we're able to do that is in his word and by him and through him. That's it. I can tell you what Nakia can do. What Nakia, just Nakia, just me. I could tell you that, hey, maybe I can get on Facebook and run my mouth a couple of minutes. Or I could tell you and be like, hey, I can do this and I can do that. But when you ask me, when you say that you're a daddy's girl, what does that mean? What does that truly, truly mean? And so God has taken me through these processes of saying, listen, you're my girl. You're mine. You trust me? All right, let's do this. Because when you say, well, God, I want more of you and I want more of what you have for me and I want this and I want that, you can't stay on that same level. That same level of trust can't be the same, because where I'm at right now is not where I was at like a year ago. You know what I'm saying? So my trust level has changed. And as you go up in him, as you go up in your purpose, as you go up in the things that God has for you, those things have to change as well. So yeah, I had like a boo-hoo moment today. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not ashamed to say that. It's whatever. I'm able to be open so that you'll understand that these things that I'm talking about are not just something that I get offline. I can share with you that I had a boo-hoo moment, that I'm driving downtown and we're going out to eat and I'm sitting there boo-hooing and texting my mom and like, mommy, like, mommy, like, oh my gosh. These things are happening. And she says, you put your big girl panties on and do what you got to do. That's it. Do what you got to do. It's not enough to talk about this thing. You got to be able to live this thing out. You got to be able to experience it. You got to be able to do it. That's what you have to do. And so I'm sitting there and, just going back and forth and wiping my face and doing all that. But as I got that and God started to comfort me and let me know that, hey, it may not feel good. The stretching that you're going through, it may not feel good. These changes that are happening in your life, it may not feel good, but it's going to work for your good. It's a purpose in it. There's something that he's doing. And so when I ask you, who's that girl? I'm asking me, who is that girl? Who's that girl that you say you are? When you say you're daddy's girl, I am his girl, spoiled, rotten daddy's girl. Isn't that what I told y'all yesterday? Spoiled, rotten daddy's girl. So listen, this spoiled, rotten daddy's girl is still getting these lessons. She's still learning. She's still growing. She's still evolving into the woman that God has called me to be. And so I want to ask you, who's that girl? Who did God say that you are? Who is it? Who is it? And are you still sleeping on her? Because if you are, remember what we talked about yesterday, it's time to wake her up. It's time to wake her up. And sometimes, what is it that we need to do? Instead of doing all that crying and asking questions and all that other kind of stuff, shut up and listen. Just shut up and listen. Sometimes it's all it takes. I cried and asked God so many questions yesterday, and it wasn't until I actually shut my mouth that he started to speak. So sometimes it's like, shut up. Just shush, and allow him to show you. And yes, can I tell you that the stretching, that the pulling, that the walls seem like they're coming at you all at once, and the darts and all these things are happening all at once, that is so uncomfortable. It is so uncomfortable. Okay. I am a front row witness to that it is so uncomfortable. Okay. But there's a purpose in it. There's a reason for it. And that he has something so amazing for you and for me, that sometimes it takes that stretching. Sometimes it takes that uncomfortableness, because I promise you, if we didn't get uncomfortable, probably nothing to change, because we're, that comfort zone, we like it. It feels good. It's like, yes, I feel like I'm in control. Okay. When we're in our comfort zone, it's like, I feel like I'm in control. I can do what I want to do. This is how it's going to be. And when you're out there and them waves are going and you don't know which way to go, and you're looking at everything and it seems so big, and you're like, I want to revert back to my comfort zone because I can control what's going on here. Out here, I can't control it. And sometimes it's out there in those big waves, in that turbulence, in all of that chaos, as it seems, that you find out who you truly are, that you find out who he's called you to be. And absolutely, mommy, it's very necessary. Absolutely. Talisha, yes, it works for your good. Absolutely. Like, yes, absolutely. It is. And I mean, listen, I can tell y'all, if you ever thought that I was a crybaby before, can I tell you that today trumped all days, okay? It totally trumped all days, because I was so uncomfortable. And I'm like, God, what is this? Why is this? Can we stop? Like, come on. But it's for a purpose, and it's necessary. And yes, it may not feel good. And yes, it may just be like, oh my gosh. But I know deep down that it's a reason for it, and that he's taking me higher, and that he's doing some things. And as I'm in this uncomfortable place, I'm able to figure a couple of things out about Nakia, who he said Nakia is. Not just what other people say, and they be like, oh, you're gifted and you're talented to do this, and like, oh my gosh, like you can do that. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about what he says that I am, who he says that I am. You see what I'm saying? I'm able to see that, because sometimes we're not able to stand up on our own 2 feet unless we're out there, and I have visuals for just about everything. My youngest nephew, Jace, he just started walking. That's like my baby love. Okay. He just started walking. And so, I remember when he first started doing steps, I would be at my sister's house and he'll be about to let go of something. And I'm like trying to catch him and going all crazy. She'd be like, girl, he fine. And I'm like, no, he gonna fall. She'd be like, he fine. He's fine, he's fine. And so, if he tumbles and falls, I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's like, he's fine. He'll get back up and he'll try again, and that's just how it is with us. Like, sometimes you're going to be out there in them waves and it's going to feel like you're out there by yourself. It feel like you're kind of wobbling and you can't be able to stand up on your own 2 feet sometimes. But it's okay, because even though you may not feel like he's right there, he's there. And when you fall or you bump your head, or if it pains so greatly, he's there to comfort you, to let you know it's okay. Get back up. Keep on going. That's one thing I love about my daddy. He's like so awesome. So awesome. So listen, I'm telling you, that girl is completely amazing. She is. She's fearless. She completely understands and knows her identity. She knows who her daddy is. And no matter what tries to come against her, she understands that it will not withstand. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. And we have to understand that, yeah, they're going to be formed. That's what they do. They're going to be formed. But it's not going to prosper. It's not going to work. What the enemy meant for your destruction, God is going to use for his glory, to glorify him, to glorify his purpose. And we have to understand that. So when I was sitting there boo-hooing about everything that was going on in my life, about everything that seemed to be pushing and tugging and stretching me, and even though my mom was such a good comfort, she still got there and she said, listen, put them big girl pants on and do what you got to do. Be who God says that you are. Just do it. Just be it. Just do. Just do it. And so yesterday we talked about discovering the truth, understanding that, yes, we've slept on this girl for a minute. We slept on her, hey, we do it. It happens. And so today we're asking, who's that girl? You need to figure out who that girl is. And the only way that you can do that is through him and his word. That's it. One thing that I can say is that if I wasn't where I'm at in God now, I would totally be a mess. Okay? Because the Kia before, that's all I can say. Okay? But you understand that there's something greater in the process. You understand that there's something greater in the struggles. You understand that there's something greater in the circumstances and the things that's happening. You understand that. And so when you can understand that, then you're able to say, you know what, God, I don't like the way this feels. I don't like the way this looks. I don't like it at all. I don't like how long it's taking because I'm not that patient, but I trust you. And that is so much more than just words. It is so much more than quoting scriptures. It is so much more than singing songs. And so I want to encourage you to figure out who that girl is. Who is she? Who is she? We can say who she is. We could talk about it. Maybe we can write it down. But you never fully understand who she is until you have to be able to walk in her. It's like seeing that part of you and you're like, whoa, now that was like some awesome sauce. Like that is some awesome sauce stuff right there, and when you get to that place, it is completely amazing. It really is. So I want to thank y'all for kicking it with me for a couple of minutes tonight, just to hear me talk, hear me share, and, just to be an encouragement to me as I am to you as we go through this, because we're ending 2017. And when I tell you that I'm looking for something extraordinary in 2018, I am. And I understand that as God elevates us, as he takes us higher, as he allows us to walk further into our purpose, that there's going to be some stretching that's going to come along. And there's going to be some things that's going to happen. And it ain't going to feel good. It ain't going to look good. And God, y'all know I'm not patient. So yeah, I'm not going to like the time that the process may take. But I understand that it is for a purpose. And I understand that God knows what's best for us. He knows what's best for me. So figure out who that girl is. Figure out who she is. Because God says that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, that you're the apple of his eye, that you are his. And I hashtag that all the time. His girl. I'm his girl, daddy's girl, all the time. So now it's time to be that. Be daddy's girl. Be his girl. Be only his. It's time to be that. It's time to walk in that. It's time to fulfill that. Not just talk about it, not just hashtag it, but to actually be that. So, like my mom told me, wipe your face, put your big girl pants on, and do what you need to do. Be her, become her, discover her. And everything that includes, the gifts, the talents, the purpose, the extraordinary amazingness of God and everything that he has for you. Be that. Do that. Wipe your face. It's going to be okay. And like I did, I had to do it because I'm telling you, I was sitting there like, it was that big ugly cry. It was that big ugly cry today, okay? And she said, wipe your face. Put your big girl pants on and do what you got to do. Be her, become her, discover her, walk in it, walk in your identity. See, these things that God has given me, it ain't just for show. It ain't just to tell. Like, we're living this thing out, okay? We're living this out. So I want to just thank y'all for being here. I pray that this has blessed you. I love the comments that I'm seeing, so thank you so much. Make sure that you're here tomorrow night, 9:00, because we're going to have another little episode, okay? I like to talk. And as God is pushing me forward, and as I'm going through this situation and these circumstances and being stretched, I'm happy to share that with you. I'm happy for you to see that so that you will be encouraged as well, because I truly believe that I'm not the only one being stretched here. I mean, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the only one that's being tested or feel like these weapons are trying to come at me. Like, I'm not the only one. And I understand that when you're in God, these things happen. And so we're going to walk this thing out. We're going to be okay. So wipe your face, put your big girl pants on, do what you got to do. Discover her, become her, learn her, walk in her, walk in him, be his girl, be that girl, and just live it out. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I pray you was blessed. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my Facebook page. Okay. Make sure that you're here and we'll chat. Okay. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great one, guys. Later.